Hello and welcome to the video. Today I'll be showing you how you can make over 2.1 million gold a week in Stardew Valley. I will give in-depth tips and provide timestamps for each part of my method. I will be comparing my method to ancient fruit wine and showing how much ancient fruit wine sucks. Like seriously, ancient fruit wine makes almost no money comparatively. So let's get started. So my method basically just boils down to building a bunch of barns, filling them with pigs, letting those pigs dig up heaps of truffles, and then putting all those truffles into oil makers to make truffle oil. To be able to dig up truffles, pigs must be outside on a free tile and had to have eaten that day. This means that pigs cannot dig up truffles on rainy/stormy days and in winter, because animals are not allowed to go outside in these situations. The wiki states that a pig has a 99.99% chance to dig up its first truffle if it already hasn't dug up a truffle and is on a free tile. Friendship does not affect the chance of digging up its first truffle for the day. However, friendship directly dictates how many more truffles a pig can dig up for the day. The formula for a pig to dig up more than one truffle a day is the animal's friendship divided by 1,500. This means that at max friendship, there is a 66% chance of creating an extra truffle per day for a pig. The wiki then states, multiple extra truffles can be made until the animal fails this check. I'm pretty sure this means that at max friendship, a pig can dig up more than 2 truffles a day, like 3 or 4 a day, but from what I've experienced, 2 truffles per day seems to be about the average. So later in the video, I'll mention 2 truffles per pig a day for calculations of total gold value. The basic price value of a truffle is 625 gold. However, when you get to level 10 foraging, you get to pick one of 2 perks. The first one puts arrows on your screen, so you know what direction forageables are spawned in. This is useless because once you get to level 10 foraging, but you will be experienced enough with the game to know which areas to get them from. However, the second perk you can choose makes every forageable you pick iridium quality. Truffles may be dug up by pigs, but they aren't actually produced by pigs, like how a chicken lays an egg or so. So when you pick them up, they come with all the foraging perks. The game for some reason doesn't categorize them as forageable items, but still gives them all the forageable benefits. I'm not complaining though, because this means that every truffle you pick up is iridium quality and is worth a whopping 1,250 gold each. You can still increase this 1,250 gold by slightly over 200 gold though. When you place a truffle into an oil maker, then no matter the quality of the truffle oil will be worth 1,065 gold. You may think that putting truffles into the oil maker is a downgrade, but we are missing one key bit of information. At level 5 farming, you will be able to choose from tiller and rancher. Truffles aren't counted as animal products, so don't pick rancher, pick tiller. Tiller is also a good pick because the best way to gain enough money to start truffle farming is by farming the highest value crops of each season. Tiller will make these crops worth 10% more. Once you hit level 10 farming, you'll be able to pick from the artisan perk or the agricultural perk. And being honest, you have to be a complete idiot to pick the agricultural perk over the artisan perk, because the artisan perk gives 40% more profit to anything that is an artisan good, and basically everything in the existence of the game that isn't a gem is an artisan good, including, but not limited to, truffle oil. Truffle oil with the artisan perk is worth 1,491 gold, which is 241 gold more than iridium quality truffles. And when you're truffle farming, you're going to be dealing with hundreds of truffles per day, which means if you don't turn them into truffle oil, then you're going to be wasting 241 gold per truffle. And if you multiply 100 by 241 gold, then you get 24,100 gold. So if you're dealing with exactly 100 truffles a day, which you won't be, you'll be dealing with something closer to 150 truffles a day, then you could be throwing away more than 24,100 gold per day of free money. 24,100 gold times 7, how many days there are in a week, equals 168,700 gold. So you would be throwing away more than 168,700 gold of free money every week. Also note that if you farm crops until you have enough money to farm truffles, then you are guaranteed to have reached level 10 farming by this stage, so don't worry about not having the artisan perk. You may realize that I'm talking a lot about truffle farming being expensive to set up, because it is, so I'm going to show you just how expensive it really is to set up. Now, to get heaps and heaps of truffles, we want barns and barns full of pigs. One barn costs a small 6,000 gold, however pigs fit only in a deluxe barn, so it will cost 43,000 gold just to buy and upgrade the barn twice. Now, when you upgrade the barn all the way to deluxe, it also costs 1,350 wood and 650 stone. If you don't have much of these materials, then you can just buy some from Robin. Stone and wood combined cost 69,500 gold, However, this is just in the first year. In the second year, the price of wood, stone, ores, and coal goes up by a lot. This means that materials will cost you 175,500 gold if you buy them in the second year. So far, the cost of a barn is anywhere from 112,500 gold to 218,500 gold. If you have the materials, then you can buy a deluxe barn for only 43,000 gold though. One pig costs 16,000 gold, so a barn full of 12 pigs would cost 192,000 gold. This means a barn full of pigs would cost 235,000 gold if you bought none of the materials, 261,500 gold if you bought the materials in year 1, and 367,500 gold if you bought all of the materials in year 2 plus. This might seem like a lot of money and a lot of effort, but this isn't even the most painful part yet. Now remember when I said that you can collect truffles and turn them into truffle oil at the start of the video? Well, turning truffles into truffle oil means that you have to make oil makers. One oil maker takes 50 slime, 20 hardwood, and 1 gold bar. This may seem simple enough if you only have 1 or 2 pigs, but for a medium to large production of truffle oil, you will need at least 1 shed full of oil makers. A normal shed costs 15,000 gold and 300 wood, so add that to your list of expenses too. Now a shed can hold a total of 67 oil makers, but if you place one outside the shed, then you can see when all the ones on the inside are ready, so you would aim for a total of 68 oil makers. Some quick math will show you to make 68 oil makers you will need 68 gold bars. 1,260 hardwood, depressingly hard pre 1.5 but easier nowadays, and 3,400 slime, also very hard. 68,000 gold bars takes a total of 68 coal and 340 gold ore. If you struggle with the gold ore, then just farm the mines for 5 days straight and you should have most of it. You won't need all this gold at once though, because of how hard it is to obtain the other 2 items in mass. Once you have a barn of pigs running for about a season, you should be out of debt and be able to buy extra gold easily. Also, lava eel fish ponds give you quite a bit of gold ore over time. Now onto hardwood. If you clear your entire farm out, then you would probably receive somewhere between 100 to 200 hardwood from all the stumps lying around, but that is nowhere near the 1,300 we need. There is, however, a place upwards of the Wizard's Tower called the Secret Woods. To enter the Secret Woods, you must upgrade your axe to a steel axe and break this giant log. In the Secret Woods, there are 6 hardwood stumps that give you 2 hardwood each day. They are placed daily so you can collect 12 hardwood a day from the secret forest. I should also mention that on the forest farm map there are 8 stumps that are replaced daily. Before the 1.5 update, these were basically the only ways to collect hardwood, so if you didn't pick the forest farm you were basically screwed. I know that in 1.4 fish ponds were added, and that the wood skip can produce hardwood if put in the fish pond, but I've had that for like 1 to 2 years. I've had one of those ponds, it's probably only given me like 50 hardwood max, so don't recommend it if you need heaps of hardwood. In the 1.5 update, mahogany trees and mahogany saplings were added. This was literally the best thing that could have ever happened to Stardew Valley for truffle farmers, because it will save so many people from the pain I had to experience. 1,360 hardwood divided by 12 equals 113 days. Each season in Stardew Valley lasts for 28 days and there are 4 seasons in a year. This means that there are 112 days in a Stardew Valley year. This also means that I had to go to the Secret Woods once every day for slightly over a year and chop down the stumps. But now with mahogany trees, obtaining that much hardwood takes a lot less effort and time. I was gonna make a video on how to farm hardwood in Stardew Valley 1.5, but I found a video by some person called CobaltGecko. In this video they explain all the stuff about mahogany trees and tree fertilizer like I was going to. However, they add a very helpful extra bit in the video that I didn't know even existed. The link to the video is in the description, so if you want to watch that one after this video and get an idea how to farm hardwood, then I highly suggest that. Now it's time for slime. Nowadays this is probably the hardest part of mass producing oil makers due to the sheer amount of slime you will need. However, pretty easy to get small quantities of slime. I'll start with the first one. It's common knowledge that slimes drop slime, right? Well, it's also common knowledge that if you equip the burglar's ring, then enemies will drop 2 times the loot when slain. You can take this to the extreme and farm slimes by going down to slime-dominated infested floors and killing everything. If you upload your game file to Stardew Predictor, then it can show you which floors will be infested and on what days. Comment down below if you want me to make a guide on how to use Stardew Predictor, Stardew Fair Helper, and Stardew Checkup, because they are all really helpful apps to use. If you find a slime egg and don't care about the slime much like me, then you can put it into a slime egg press and receive 100 slime. Grover sells 50 slime for 10 gold each on Mondays. The last good way to obtain slime that I know of is through fish ponds. The slime jack can be caught in the mutant bug lair. When put in a fish pond, the slime jack won't produce much at first. However, once the fish pond has reached a population of 9+, then it has a 34% chance to give you 10 to 50 slime. Once you're at a population of 10, then you don't need to feed the fish anymore. This means that you can sit back and get some passive income of slime. Here's some numbers to show you how good the fish pond tactic really is. Also remember that this is only one fish pond, and on your farm you can fit a lot more than just one fish pond. If you set up like 5 fish ponds and do other stuff for like a year, then you should have way more than enough slime for your oil makers. I've shown you all the maths you need to be able to set up a truffle farm, however I haven't actually shown you how to do it in a practical manner. Like I may talk about having 6 barns full of pigs, well actually it's 8 now, and having a full shed of oil makers and stuff, but I didn't start out with all of that. I started out with about 1 or 2 barns of pigs that I slowly filled up to the max. I then realized I needed a shed for my oil makers if I didn't want to put all the oil makers into barns. So I did, and my shed was only about quarter to a half full of oil makers. The point is that you don't need all these materials at once, and that the money for materials and pigs will come over a period of time. Once you have enough money to start with 1 or 2 barns of pigs, then go in balls deep and spend all your money till you're broke. Because the more money you spend on pigs, the more payoff and the faster you will break even. For example, if you buy a barn full of pigs for 192,000 gold and add either 43,000 gold or 69,500 gold for materials, then you will spend a total of 235 gold to 261,500 gold on pigs. We know that a pig digs up an average of 2 truffles a day. If you somehow become the world's unluckiest person and never get an extra truffle from a pig or from the foraging perk, then you will still make about 35,748 gold a day from truffle oil. This means that you would make your money back in about 6 to 7 days. And after those 6 to 7 days, you'll be making more than 35,000 to 40,000 gold per day. But one pig won't even make 90,000 gold in one entire season, which isn't even close to breaking even. Also, once you break even, if you need to buy crops or something, then you can do that, but reinvest it back into pigs if you can. Because once you have about 3 coops full of pigs running for a season or so, you will basically have unlimited money. Well, maybe not quite unlimited, but with this method you can make about 10.5 million gold a season in just a single season if you just focus on pigs. Remember that pigs need 3 tiles to be able to dig up truffles, so be sure to give them lots of room. This is a screenshot from how much room I gave my pigs when I first started out with 2 barns. And here's some footage of the type of room I give my pigs now with 8 barns. The 2 barns up here could have more room, but I couldn't fill in the pond thingers, so all their truffles just clump up very fast. I also need to upgrade my shed to a bigger one because I have almost 2 stacks of fully 999 like stacked out truffles just backlogged into my chest because I don't have enough truffle oil makers. One last thing I want to talk about before I move on to the next segment of the video is about hay consumption. Pigs claim more hearts from eating fresh grass every day. However, when you have so many pigs and pigs and pigs, you will run out of fresh grass. I've tried the battery rod strat to make sure that there is always grass, but it doesn't grow fast enough for a whole farm of pigs. So I buy about 5 stacks of 99 hay every 2-ish seasons from Marnie, and then I slowly put it into my 3 silos when needed. I also have all these silos because I have 3 more coops and 1 barn on my farm which aren't pig related. A pig eats 1 hay a day, and 1 hay costs 50 gold, and 1 truffle oil sells for 1,491 gold. So 1 truffle oil from 1 pig from 1 day, remember a pig can do 2 truffles a day, which can be 2 truffle oil a day, so 1 truffle oil pays for almost 30 days of a pig's food, so it's pretty easy to pay for food for pigs. You need to pat your pigs so they gain hearts. If you choose the JoJo route, then you can just use auto petters. See my auto petter guide for more information. I didn't choose the JoJo route for my main save file, nor do I recommend it. So I don't really have any auto petters. In the morning, I go around the pig pen and hold right click. This pets any pig and picks up any truffle I come into contact with. Then the next day, I do the same thing and pick up the truffles from the day before. If you accidentally leave your pigs for like 2 days, don't worry, they will just somehow find a way to pack every square centimeter of your land with just truffles. Just trust me, it happens. Now, I'm going to show you the fun stuff, like how much you're going to make, how to do it, and how I calculated the number for the title. We'll also compare my method to ancient fruit wine of all qualities and show you how much it sucks, because people on YouTube really seem to think that ancient fruit wine is like the S++ tier of money making when it really isn't. Also, don't get me wrong, it does generate a little bit of profit, like 100k or 2 like every week, so like, do it, just do it as well as truffles. Don't make it your main source, make truffles your main source. Also note that all the prices on this are going to be calculated assuming that you have unlocked the artisan perk, because if you are capable of truffle farming and you're not at level 10 farming yet, then I have just 3 words for you. How? Just how? First off, the amount of money you make per day depends on how many oil makers you have and what time / how many times a day you harvest it. For me, I have 68 oil makers, so it depends on how many times a day I harvest. If I put my first load of truffles on at 7 AM, then they'll be ready at 1 PM. Then if I put my second load on at 1 PM, they'll be ready at 7 PM. If you listen closely, you may realize that I put on truffles 3 times but only harvest them twice. This is true, but after a day or 2 of truffle farming, this 2 will turn into 3. Because if I start on today, say 5 at 7 PM, and then instead of harvesting them, I just go to bed, then when I wake up in the morning and go to put on my first load, they will already be waiting for me to harvest. Now I have 68 oil makers, and if I harvest 3 times a day, I get a total of 304,164 gold a day. Now if I multiply that by 7, the amount of days in a week, then I get 2.1 million gold. This is how I calculated the number in the title of this video. Nowadays, I usually only harvest 1 to 2 times a day because I spend so much time on Ginger Island. However, when you first start out and you really need money, I recommend you harvest at least 3 times a day. Harvesting 4 times a day is unrealistic because I've never done that for a week straight, because the last harvest will be at 1 AM, so you have to rush back to bed and lose energy and stuff. But if I wanted the clickbaity title, then I could have made the number 2.8 million gold a week, and if I had made 136 oil makers, double 68, then I could have made the title as big as 5.67 million gold a week. But that was very unrealistic because that's not something I would personally do in Stardew Valley. Now for the comparison to Ancient Fruit Wine part that I promised. I had already written very close to 4,000 words at this point, and I was sick of typing, so I decided to make a chart instead because I like doing that. So as you can see here, the price for base Ancient Fruit Wine with like no silver or anything qualities takes 7 days to produce. So if you put an ancient fruit into a wine barrel, whatever it's called, then it'll into a keg, that's what it's called. It takes 7 days for it to produce, and it will be worth 2,310 gold. However, 1 truffle oil is worth 1,491 gold with the artisan perk. Of course, everything here is calculated with artisan perk. It takes 6 hours to produce. So I just get 1,491 times 7 and boom, because I'm just calculating it as like 1 a day to be fair to Ancient Fruit Wine. Now these are both base quality, of course, truffles are always base quality. Now if I put an Ancient Fruit Wine into a cask, the cask, pretty sure, for 14 days, then it will turn into a silver quality Ancient Fruit Wine. It will be worth 2,886 gold. But again, that takes 14 days, and one truffle oil will only take 6 hours to be made. So if I have 1 a day times 1,491 by 14, then I get this number. Now, this is where it gets even more interesting. If I wait 28 days, which is exactly a month, from waiting, if I put Ancient Fruit Wine into a casket for 28 days, which is exactly a month, and then it will turn into a gold quality Ancient Fruit Wine, which will be worth 3,465 gold. However, this still takes 6 hours. So if I take, so if I get 1,491 gold, which is the base price of this, and times it by 28, I get 41,748 gold. And now for the even more embarrassing one, iridium quality wine, ancient fruit wine. 1 iridium quality ancient fruit wine takes 56 days, which is exactly 2 months to be made, and is only worth 4,620 gold. Even diamond farming is more profitable than that. Now, truffle farming. Again, truffle oil only takes 6 hours to produce, and so if I produce 1 a day, and I get that 1,491 gold times 56, you get the 83,496 gold. Ancient fruit wine won't even come close to truffle oil if you count this in, but you could argue that ancient fruit wine here, it takes 56 days, but the thing is it's not affected by rain. Truffles are, because on a rainy day, pigs can't come out, so they can't dig up truffles. However, if you listened earlier in the video, you would know that a pig digs up an average of 2 truffles a day, and it could be, because that's just an average, it can be up to 3, and I have never seen a pig that's like at a high heart level dig under 2 truffles a day. So 2 is more like a minimum, not an average. But yeah, you could have more like 3 maybe. A pig might dig up 3, but then also remember you got the perk where sometimes you accidentally just pick up double the truffle. So you could be picking up 3 or 4 truffles per pig some days, and because of that you get, and depending on how much oil makers you have, you get a bit of a backlog of like 100 or so, 200 or so truffles in your inventory. And so on a rainy day it doesn't affect you because you go on there and you use your backlog up, and then the next day, and even though it could be raining like a couple days in a row, if you've just done this for a long time, you will have a lot of backlog. Like I have so much backlog, I could do it for like 2 winters maybe straight of just my truffles. But you shouldn't have that much. That was just a mistake on my half. But you would have actually like a couple hundred truffles backlog. So rainy days, I don't even need a discount. Now remember, because it's like the two pigs. Now because of the pig on basically minimum digs up 2 truffles a day, and because if I could have made it 12 hours and doubled this number, because if you do 2 harvests a day, then, which is really easy, then you can get this. However, I didn't want to embarrass Ancient Fruit Wine too much, and wanted to give them the benefit of the doubt in every way possible, just to make the block even worse. So yeah, I talk about Ancient Fruit Wine like it's a person. If you notice here, this is the Bloomer font. This is Bloomer font, and this is Milky Nice font. I know that they're 2 different fonts. I didn't use Bloomer for all of it because I'm using the demo version of Bloomer because I don't own it, and it allows you to use 1, 2, and 3, but 4 and 5, I'm pretty sure, they just don't work with the font because it's a trial version. So yeah, that's unfortunate, but yeah. So in conclusion, get some money, get some time, get some pigs, and you'll have a gold clock in no time. Don't be discouraged by the amount of money this takes though, because as I said earlier in the video, I'm going to start making a series of guides which will tell you how to make money in spring, summer, fall, winter, etc. And if you follow these guides, then you will be able to have at least a barn full of pigs by the time winter is around, of year 1. You can implement these strategies I use in the videos into your existing farm. I'm also not used to writing 4,000 words in 2 days, so I'm kind of tired right now. If you have any questions or comments, put them down in the comments below and I'll answer every single one of them, unless the video randomly gets like 100,000 views in a single day, which it definitely won't. That would be nice, but it just won't. I'm now going to waste my time by recording and editing this video so that 10 people can see it. Bye.